Welcome to Tales of a Survivor, a talk show that highlights individuals that have overcome abuse and the step that they've taken to get their life back. The purpose of the show is not only to bring awareness, but also to inspire those that are living abuse in silence. We hope that you can mirror yourself in some of the stories that will be shared and find the strength from within to say no more. I am worthy of a lot more. Today's topic, bullying. And with us, I have an 11-year-old, Belinette Rodriguez, along with her mother, Janet Diaz. Thank you both for coming over here and taking your time. Belinette, I want you to tell me your age, of course, your grade, and let's start from when it all started.
So I'm 11 years old, and from when the bullying started, it began in second grade. I was in a class, and there were these bunch of girls. They were like a gang, and they would usually pick on me every day, and it was just horrible.
They will pick on you. Do you in which way? Verbally, physically?
No, not physically, but like they would call me names, point at me, gossip, spread rumors, like I skipped a grade, I lied to teachers, because it was second grade, so
Yeah, it was second grade. What grade you in now?
sixth.
Oh, wow. Good. Now, let me ask you, Janet, during those times when she was in second grade, she was coming forward and telling you what was going on?
Yeah, she was telling me little things, but you know how kids are. And
Yeah.
in school, you tend to not overlook it, but kids are kids, and but it's
And especially at second grade, you're
yeah,
not
second
thinking that way.
grade is like the bothering, so that's expected. But as time continued, and then the words started getting harsher, and the name calling and people ganging up on her, it started getting a little more serious. And I started telling the school my daughter's being a victim of bullying. And I always taught her not to hit, not to answer back, to be respectful. But what happened, it got way out of control. And the old school that she was at, they weren't doing anything. Literally, they were not doing anything. They would say that they did some sort of meeting, but it didn't rectify the issue. It didn't help at all.
Now, let me ask you something. When they said that they did a meeting, what did the school do? Like, did you ever meet with the parents?
I never met with the parents. They said that they took it upon themselves and they called the parents. And I am very involved, obviously, because of my own issues. I'm always protective of her. So I was that parent going to the school, like, this needs to stop. This child, she's sort of emotionally is really affecting her to the point that we needed to get some sort of help. It got to the point where depression kicked in with her, and you were talking about a little 8 and 9-year-old little girl, and she's thinking these negative thoughts that she doesn't want to be here anymore. So that's really serious when
That
a young
is serious
child
when it comes that way.
She doesn't want to be here anymore. As a mom, that scared me. But I wasn't getting any help. So I came up to the point. I said, you know what? Counseling isn't helping with the schools because they're not doing anything. Just hit back and talk back.
Okay, so you told her to hit back and talk back?
You know what? Hit back and talk back.
Defend yourself, in other words.
Basically, because it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Okay.
And every day I would get a call from the school, oh, she wasn't behaving, she wasn't this, but they didn't know that the root of the problem was that she was being bullied severely to the point that it got physical. I brought you some pictures of a particular incident, which that enraged me, but there were other incidents where you see her arms black and blue, her legs black and blue, her was it your stomach or your back? And I took pictures.
And my stomach.
Of the school. I took pictures to the school. They didn't do anything.
But at this point, and again, I'm preparing myself for what's to come. I know I will experience that because of my son, as you know, giantism and everything, and all this. As a mother, like sometimes people, the Soto syndrome, this is his skull is a little larger than others. When they call him big head, he takes really offense to that, and he's only 6 years old. And I have already gone to the school about it, and I want to meet with his parents. I had a meeting with his parents. Why didn't you like?
I
This-
did. I did. I did. I was going for that, and I wanted to meet the parents, and I wanted this to stop, because the same way I will discipline her and say, no, you
Yeah.
have to respect others, and you have to respect yourself, and you don't give away respect. You earn respect, and in order for you to earn respect, you gotta show that. You gotta show respect. That's how you earn it. You just don't give it away. But here I am teaching her the proper, not to be disrespectful, not to be this problem child. But in the school, obviously, there's certain issues that all kids go through. But with bullying is something really serious, and
It
especially
really
when it
is.
gets
Yes.
to the point that your child is coming home with bruises in her body, or they pulled her hair, or bruises in her. It's ridiculous, and I basically thought that they were just brushing this under the rug and just giving the kids like a little slap in the wrist. They weren't taken serious enough.
In other words, they didn't teach the kids that for every action there's a reaction, there's a consequence.
Right. It was
So
just
it was like
basically-
they were doing nothing to the fact. So you took her out of the school, or she's still in the same
no,
school?
she stood in the school because unfortunately
The district.
it's the district. It was a better district, and then I need her near, because if anything happens to her, then I needed to be there.
Yeah, that's what
You
happens
know?
when we don't have like that support system.
Right. So it's like I need to get to her like right away. It's not like I have, I cannot depend on her father or anybody else. It's solely me. I was looking to put her like in a private school,
Okay.
but then when you don't address the bullying issue, it will happen in a private school, in a Catholic school.
It will happen
will
everywhere.
everywhere.
Anywhere.
And
Absolutely.
bullying is such a serious topic right now, and a lot of the schools.
Especially social media bullying too. It's getting
Yeah.
really big.
Yeah, it got to the point also that she was even being
Cyberbullied.
You was
And-
cyberbullied as well.
Yes,
Yes.
as well. And it was an incident when I told this little girl, like, this is her mother, and she disrespected me
The little girl.
to the point I couldn't believe, like a 9, 10-year-old would speak to an adult like that. Are
Wow.
you kidding me? If I was to ever speak like that to an adult, at that age, I would have been scared to go back home. And I wanted to speak to her parents, and nothing. It was really. I brought some pictures, and this
Yeah,
particular incident.
we place those pictures. And now tell me about these pictures that we showing on the screen.
Well, this particular incident, it was like 2 years back,
Yes.
and she snapped. She snapped in school. Belly just had enough. She had enough, unfortunately, because she had enough and she was trying to stop. Because I always told her, you got to tell them stop. And when the stopping, it just kept on. She actually fought back. What happened? She did a gesture like stop, but she accidentally hit a girl, which it was an accident. So the
A
school-
bystander. She hit a bystander.
But it was an accident. She didn't mean to hit this girl. It's like it was just a gesture when she said stop, or whatever it was. Her hand flew somewhere and it hit a girl. Obviously, the school called me.
Of course.
And, they said, well, your daughter needs to be in in-house suspension. So I wanted to laugh in a way. I'm like, really? So now you want to suspend my daughter because she actually fought
But
back.
but then here you are telling them for
But this-
over
here
a
I
month
am,
what's going on,
over
and
years,
nothing
Over
happened.
years that this is happening, nothing happened. So I said, you know what? Because I also have to teach her responsibility. I'm
And
like,
consequences.
well, you know what? This is the consequences. Unfortunately, you hit someone, and this is what's going to happen. She got an in-house suspension.
Okay.
The funny thing is that same day, someone else from the school called me. Oh, there was an incident, Miss So-and-so. And I'm like, oh, I'm aware of it, that she's in the in-house suspension. She's like, no. She was hit pretty badly. So while she was in that same school and in the in-house suspension with the teacher, a kid beat her up while she's in the in-house suspension.
Are you kidding me?
No. So then I obviously ran to the school because it was like 2 blocks away from
Oh
me.
my gosh.
And I'm sitting there.
I think I would have lost it. I
No,
think
I'm
I would have
sitting-
lost it.
No, I was doing a lot of praying.
Oh
Let me
my
tell
God,
you,
I would've lost it.
from my job to the school. And then I remember telling this counselor, because all of them came in. And then I told her, you explain to me as a parent how I'm not going to leap over this desk and just start strangling
Pounding you.
somebody.
Yes.
How can I maintain this composure? You explain to me how am I supposed to act? Because I've been telling you for months and years that this has been happening. And the one incident that happened, and she finally fought back, look what happened. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to say, they didn't know what to do.
Wow.
And
Belly, let me ask you. During this time, how was you feeling?
Well, I was pretty hurt, and especially if it was a little boy that I knew, but I wasn't really close to him. Like, we weren't friends. We met in the in-house suspension, but he would always just seem negative, like having a mean look, and I just felt like, why am I here? What did I do? Like, it's not my fault. Like, I would always have this little diary that I would write in and like share my feelings, but I don't really do that with people. Like, I don't really like to share my feelings. So during that time period that I would usually get bullied a lot in my old school, I would feel pretty bad. Like, I would feel alone. I would cry a lot. And that was the point that my mom brought me to a psychiatrist. And I go to school psychology, a clinic, and
To
sometimes
help
my
you
mom
with
talks
your
to me.
feelings, you know, to just make sure that don't scare you, because you know, you have to understand, mommy. And again, whatever these kids are doing has nothing to do with you. You know that, right? It has nothing to do with you. You're an amazing little girl, and sometimes we're gonna come across in life, and as you grow old, you'll see that people, what they lack of, their shortcomings, and they have many insecurities, they like to put someone else down so they can feel better and big about themselves. You know what I mean? So what mommy is doing for you, which is giving you the help that you need to overcome this, it's for your own good, and that doesn't mean that you were at fault at all. That they are at fault for doing what they're doing, and it's a sad thing that the parents ain't doing anything to those kids.
They're not.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Do you still see them at school?
Some, like the girl that cyberbullied me through Facebook, actually. My mom deleted it, mine. She would say F you. Then when my mom saw the messages, she blacked out. Like, she starts to
course.
text her, like, this is her mother. I don't condone this language, and
can you tell Giselle like how you were feeling and
Yes.
I was feeling pretty left out because, like, I felt like everybody hated me. Like, I was just a setup, or like it was a prank in a way. But
you mean a prank?
like that they brought me into the school, like they thought that I was a joke.
Okay. Like, so you felt like you was worthless,
Mhm.
type of thing.
Yes.
And on second grade, when you was going through it, and you was in second grade, you was a little girl, how you felt then?
Well, I was pretty happy, like I was joyful, but I ignored it. That was
Okay,
when I was
that's
more
good.
calmer. I wasn't really depressed at that time, but like from time to time I would still draw or like write if I was like feeling a little bit like down. Well, not
So you like
sad.
writing, huh?
Yes, I love writing sometimes. But, like, I remember this one day in second grade class that the teacher was reading to us. Then, like, I sit next to the teacher's desk for a reason, because the girl, she would always bother me, like, and on that same day, she was like, she's copying me. And then my teacher, she actually defended me, and the girl was sitting, like, all the way back, like, not even near me. So then, like, when everybody started to go to the carpet and the teacher would read, I would just, like, sit down in the corner and draw or write or
You just wanted
yeah,
to
just get my
stay
mind off of things.
and to stay out of any drama
Out of any
or
drama, yeah.
anybody. So about now, how is it now? Because I know now you're still going through it. Tell me right now at this moment, what are you going through in school?
Rumors,
Okay.
like, just horrible things, like, because everybody has that point in life that, like, something is breaking their heart. Like,
What do you mean?
what I mean by breaking their heart is, like, they lost a friend,
Okay.
or that, like, you want to run away, or just things that make you feel sad. And that's
Okay.
how I felt. Like, that's when I started to, like, be lonely. Like, I would always be alone. Like, so at
Okay.
lunchtime,
So
I
you
would
became
sit
a
alone.
loner.
Yes. And I would always sit with my best friend. And that's the funny thing. I met her in second grade. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And we were in the same class in sixth grade, but then another rumor spread around by this group of boys. So they switched my class twice, and nothing's helping.
Which that's actually
Yeah,
this
talk to me
particular
about it.
well, this particular incident that happened is a pretty
Negative.
unbelievable rumor. You understand? And, it all happened because she wanted to help a young girl in the school, and an incident happened with her, and then it got to the point with her bullying that the girl had to leave the school. I can't actually tell you what
No,
it
no,
is.
of course, of course.
But
I don't want you details.
this new school invited me in, and they did some sort of like round table, and they're telling me these things, but I'm looking at my daughter. I was like, that's not my daughter, but they're telling me that this is what they're saying. I'm in shock. Whatever I hear in that room is in shock. 'Cause I'm like, wait a minute, I know my girl, and this can be it or whatever. And then the next day, I had to like really calm down and really start analyzing everything. And I called the guidance counselor, like, the school told me this. Isn't that what they were saying? They're basically all these men accusing my daughter, right? Which that made it even more uncomfortable. And it was all a lie. It is not true. Then the school, obviously, the counselors, they apologized.
Of course, they had no
And
choice
then,
but to.
you know, they changed the class, and I agreed. I was like, well, if it's going to help her somehow. But still, for some reason, these rumors are going around. And I just needed to stop. So I go after school, like, this needs to stop. This is not a joke. This needs to stop.
Of
and I
course,
want
because
people
you don't want
suspended as of
rumors
right
or
now.
something to spread to hurt her even more than what she's been
But
through
it's
already
not
with the
that,
bullying.
like I tell her, you need to learn how to ignore certain people.
Yes.
But when you
Yes.
see your daughter fall into isolation,
Yes.
and then she loses this hope, and she's having these negative thoughts that, God forbid, you know, like she tends to say, or she has said, I want to end it. I want to end myself. This is a parent's worst nightmare.
Yes, it is.
You know, and that's where you have to raise awareness, because bullying, there's a lot of suicides, and kids think of all this, you know, hopelessness, and
Yes.
it leads to that.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that she's at that point, but at one time or another, she had these thoughts. So
and you know
the
what?
bullying needs to stop.
And I'm really, like, I commend you because you're really hands-on when it comes to belly.
Yes.
And that is something that a lot of parents will just, this is a kid stuff and disregard it. But I did a bullying episode with somebody else, and she actually was going to kill herself. Like the mother found, because she also did like to write as well. She was a loner as well. She became, she's gonna kill me if I'm not saying it right. Gothic, those people that dress in
Yeah,
black.
that's what. Yeah,
With my accent, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? So she became
that
one of
that's what
those.
I like.
You do like that
Yeah.
too.
But I mean, like goth and emo, they're different.
That's exactly
Goth is like
what she
that they
told me.
believe in like Satan or whatever, but emo is like that they just like to be alone, like a loner, and like they're always dark, like they're crunched up, like how I am right now. But people
You
always
see?
bully you for that, which gets me upset.
And the point is that this is what I don't understand. Because we all unique in our own selves. You are you. There's nobody in the world like you or like me. So we have to embrace ourselves and we have to embrace others. I can't expect you to think like another child or vice versa. We have to embrace ourselves. So now you became, you like the emo, you say?
Emo, yeah.
Emo.
Well,
So
what I
emo.
think that emo is like emo, like emotional.
Okay, now I got it. You see, hello, my English, sometimes. So emo, it's like for emotional. So
Yes.
you right now you feel crunched up. Like, do you feel like no matter what you do, you always being accused of something?
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're not good enough? I need you to really dig deep within you. And the reason why I want you to do that and go as far as you're comfortable is because to raise awareness to all the kids that are going through it. You know what I mean? So go ahead, tell me, dig deep. How do you feel when the rumors are spread? How do you feel when you're being accused of something that you didn't do?
Well, I just feel like I'm left out because how would I be accused of something that has nothing to do with me, myself? And I'm just like, really?
You
Like,
don't.
why
You,
would you do that?
you feel like you don't fit in.
Yes.
I mean, I observe her when she goes to school, and it really hurts me because she tends to walk and I see her because I'm very observant. You know how I am, and she tends to avoid certain groups, and then I know that, and I tell her, you know what, you don't have to be the most popular person in school, and this does happen, and it has to do a lot of envy, and a lot of people will bully you because they might think you're pretty or they might do this or they, but then I see her and I see the hurt. I see her and I see her little notes, and it's heartbreaking the stuff
It sure
that she
is.
writes
I get
there.
it.
Because imagine your son, you open up a paper because she has a little jar whenever she's feeling, and it has her emotions.
Okay.
And when you open that day, she felt hopeless. That day, I wish I would never wake up.
Wow.
That day, I wish I was never born. So these are different emotions that she's writing down, but she can obviously speak to me because I don't know. But
But you know what? Don't feel like you're not suitable. And most of the kids they don't go
No,
to
no,
the
it's
mothers. I don't
right.
know why.
it's
just
easier speaking to another
to an
individual than their
stranger.
own parent.
Yes.
But then I see her, and then the way she is, and she likes to meet new people and stuff like that.
She's very outgoing, but
Yeah, she is.
at least she's very outgoing when she's with people that she knows, and she's very good with Matthew, very good because my son is a handful, guys. He really is a handful. But I really want to thank you for taking your time, and I want you to understand. And again, I will repeat it yourself. You stand out because you're shining from within. You understand? Don't ever let nobody take your shine away because you are an amazing little girl and you're a beautiful little girl and you're very smart. You have overcome a lot. You're here, you're standing, you're blessed. You have a lot more than other kids. Don't let the nonsense. Sometimes, I'm not saying that this is the case, but it is in fact, and I've seen that kids that are going through things at home, like they have experienced domestic violence in the house, the anger that they have inside, they have to channel it somehow. And sometimes it becomes the bully. You understand? So maybe these kids are going through something themselves, and this is just a way to channel it out. They're battling their own insecurities, they're battling their own stuff. And again, it has nothing to do with you. You understand that? You like that emo? I'm gonna learn about that. You're gonna teach me about that. But understand, you glow. You're not a follower. You a little. Let them. Even as adults, we find people that are jealous. I don't have a lot of friends either. I never done anything to them. But hey, it's okay. It's your aura. Because your aura is growing. How is it that you guys go? Mm-hmm. Janet, thank you so much for bringing her in. Thank you again, mommy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to love yourself at all times. In order for everything to coexist, you first have to exist. Love yourself. Remember you are beautiful. And don't disregard everything that tells you otherwise. You can follow us at the GNN Project on Facebook and Instagram. And see you next time.